Hey guys, I hope you're all having a lovely day today. I have some time before my next client gets here, so I figured I would talk to you guys about how to set yourself apart from other people. So we're gonna do a story time and hopefully it helps you guys out. So the first example I want to give you is a couple of years ago, I was dating this barber and he was having a hard time getting followers. Really, his goal was to make more money so that he can live life in a free way, but he was having a hard time figuring it out. One day I drove to LA to take a hair class, and on the way back we were talking on the phone, and he said, I'm just so frustrated. What's different between me and all these top barbers? So I looked at the top barbers pages, and instead of focusing on what they were doing, I wanted to focus on his talent and really what made him valuable. And the first question I asked him was, what do you focus on the most when you're doing your haircuts? And he didn't know how to answer the question, so I said, don't think too hard about it. When you're cutting hair, what do you focus on the most? Like, is it the lineup? Is it the taper? What is it? And he said, well, honestly, it's the haircut as a whole. I just want to make sure it's precise. I want to get it very precise because that's what makes the cut look good. And I said, well, there you go. There you have it. I said, every barber's not like that. And I said, the fact that you want to get everything dang near perfect, I said, that's the reason why people come to you, and that's what makes you different. So we spent some time trying to rebrand, and we came up with the name Precision Barber, and he blew up from there. So when you know who you are, you know what you're focused on and what sets you apart from the rest, I'm telling you, your business will skyrocket from there. The second example I'm going to give is myself. So I am a hairstylist, and I started braiding about, I would say 18 years ago. So I've been doing hair for about 18, 19 years. I've been braiding all my life. I started doing color and weaves and other types of hairstyles, but likewise, like the guy, it wasn't bringing me the success or the freedom that I wanted. I had a daughter, and I was a single mother at that time, and so I needed something that would give me the freedom. I had literally the same goal as the barber. I wanted the freedom, the money that gave me the freedom, but mine was for a different reason. I wanted the freedom to be able to spend more time with my daughter. My mother passed away when she was 21, and I didn't know who she was. I was 2 years old, and so it kind of stuck with me when it came to raising my own children. I wanted to make sure I could always be there and that nothing was going to keep me from spending time with my kids. So it's kind of shaped everything that I do in life and the career choices that I've made. So while doing hair, I started to become frustrated because I felt like nothing I was doing was working. Nothing was working. I was posting 3 times a day. I was putting hashtags. I was talking to people. I was handing out cards, and literally nothing was working. I was putting my all into braiding these people's heads, and nothing was working. I even left one salon to go to the next salon to try and learn how to do lace wigs because I thought that's where the money was at. I even opened up a salon, and I had to close it like 3 months later because no one came. And I thought that was the way to make more money, but it just wasn't. Now, for some people, then that's what works. But for me, nothing was working. I was negative $200 in my account, and it was horrible. It was a horrible situation, and I was depressed, and I didn't know what to do. So a shop owner that I used to work for, or I didn't work for her, but I worked at her shop. She called me one day and she said, hey, how are you doing? And I have a tendency of always saying I'm doing good. And so I was like, oh, I'm doing good, blah, blah, blah. So as we began to talk, I just poured out to her, and I said, I'm not doing good. I had to close down my salon, and I don't know what to do. And she said, Kia, just focus on the braids. And I'm like, wow, why is she saying focus on the braids? Because she doesn't braid hair. She's a shop owner and she's successful. I'm trying to be like her, and she has 4 children. How can I get to where she's at? So she gave me advice, just focus on what you do best. And I'm like, okay, whatever, in one ear, out the other. And so the barber that I was dating at the time, I was pouring out my frustration to him about a week later, and he said the same thing. He said, honestly, I feel like you're doing too many things. Like, just focus on, well, first he told me to focus on color, but then when he started to realize what I was good at, he said, just focus on braiding because you'll kill it. Like, you do bomb braids. I didn't believe him either because I had my own interpretation of success and what that looked like. So after he said it, I said, you know what? You're the second person that said that. I really didn't think it was going to work. I really did just focus on braiding, which is where I originally started when it came to doing hair in the first place. And I made a killing with it. I went from making $0 to $500 to $1,000 to $3,000. My goal when I first started doing hair was to make $3,500 a month, and I was broke. I had like no money coming in at all. I was a certified pastry chef, and although I loved the trade, it wasn't enough to provide the lifestyle that I wanted to provide for my daughter. So that wasn't for me. I jumped back into hair because I just had a gut feeling. I know that this will provide me the income that I'm looking for in that moment. And at that time, I believe my goal was about $3,500 a month. That's like no money. But I had $0, so $3,500 sounded good to me. I reached my goal, I would say the first year and a half of getting into the hair industry. I reached my $3,500 goal, and I changed my goal to $5,000 a month. I reached that goal, and then I changed it to $7,500 a month. And so as I began to reach my goal, I noticed something. When you focus on what you're good at, what you do naturally, that's what's going to set you apart from the rest. The braids that I do are not the best braids in the world. And I'm not trying to be the best. I am the best at what I do. My parts, everything is very precise. I was just like the barber. Like, we were very similar in what set us apart from the rest of the barbers and hairstylists in Sacramento. He was very precise in his cuts, and I was very precise with my braiding, and that's how we started making a bunch of money. We eventually began to make between $7,000 and $18,000 a month together collectively. It was awesome. When you really focus on what you're good at, that's what's going to set you apart from the rest. So the last video that I posted, I only talked maybe like a couple of seconds about getting to know who you are. And in this video, I just want to reiterate the same thing. You have to get to know who you are and not compare yourself to the next person, because what makes this person great is not going to be the same thing that makes you great. You can use other people's success as a guide and definitely as an inspiration, but don't try and be just like that person, because you're never going to be that person and they're never going to be you. So I hope that helped you guys. Have a lovely day. Hit me with your questions, your comments, your business questions, whatever you want to ask me, and I will do my best to answer your questions. Love you all. Have a blessed day.